This episode of Android Q&A is brought to you by Full Sail University. Welcome back to Android Q&A. My name is Jayce, and today's show is all about the greatest dangers that our beloved Android must face if it wants to continue to be the dominant mobile operating system. So, will the greatest dangers be from Samsung's Tizen operating system, or will it be one of the new operating systems from China, or will it be mobile web apps? Yes, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, Jayce, no one can touch Android. It's too accessible, it's too flexible, it's just too Android. But that's what they said about MySpace. So where are the dangers for Android coming up? There has always been a weird dichotomy at the heart of Android. Google and OEMs don't really want the same thing. OEMs want to sell handsets that makes as much money as possible from selling hardware. Google wants its services in as many devices as possible because that's how they make money from advertising. As internet usage is rapidly becoming all about mobile devices, Android was a very clever way for Google to maintain its dominance. Instead of having to pay a company like Apple a huge sum of money in order to be the default search provider, it gave OEMs a platform to use. You see, you and I may be really excited about Android Silver, Android One, and all the Nexus devices, but those activities aren't really in the best interest of Google's hardware partners. So Google has a difficult job of walking this tightrope line of creating an Android operating system that pleases users like you and me and still pleasing their hardware partners that actually make the phones. Let's talk China. Now, it's not just that China is a hotbed of entrepreneurs who are trying to create the next Android, or that China holds the biggest smartphone market on the planet, but that China and Google have had a very tumultuous relationship. One company that we know isn't making cash in China is Mother Google herself. Google refused to continue censoring search engine results after a Chinese hacking attack that led to a lengthy dispute that has seen some Google services banned in mainland China. Android may be the dominant platform in China, but Google doesn't provide search on those phones or sell content on them like it does in much of the rest of the world. All that means less cheddar for Mother Google. Now, for those of you who originally know me from XDA Developers or How to Become TV, you'll know that I interviewed a small army of very high-profile software developers. And one of the themes that came out of those interviews was that there is a painful shortage of skilled developers out there. Now, don't get me wrong, there's an army of new computer science engineering graduates, but fortunately, they don't have much real-world experience. And that's where Full Sail University comes in and try and fill that need. In this degree program, you'll learn the specific technology used in creating and distributing apps so that you can conceive, develop, deploy, and market an application from start to finish. Full Sail also offers the online mobile gaming master's degree program, allowing you to expand upon your programming skills while you learn how to improve the mobile gaming experience. Through Full Sail's Project Lunchbox program, students receive a MacBook Pro, industry software, plus iOS and Android devices. Now, if you're ready to master the technology and software to compete in this rapidly growing industry, visit fullsail.edu/authority to learn more about these online degree programs. Now, although those two problems are major concerns for Google and they need to address them, I will argue that there is a bigger target on Google's back, and that is mobile web apps. All right, I'm gonna go off script here and riff because this is a really passionate topic for me. You see, Apple and Google, and to a lesser extent Amazon, have unprecedented control over media and media publishing, like more than any other company in the history of the planet. You see, let's use us for example. You are watching Android Authority, and if Android Authority wanted to sell you a t-shirt or an app or something that you've expressed an interest in, we can't contact you directly for that sale because YouTube controls the relationship between the publisher and the viewer. We can't email you, we can't text you, we can't do any of that because they say that's a violation of their privacy policy. So, web apps is an attempt to allow the publisher a direct relationship with their viewer. you could just go then to androidauthority.com and not have to go through the Google Play Store to get the content, or not have to go through YouTube to get the content. You go directly to the publisher, and then that's a direct relationship. It's much easier for publishers to make a much more reasonable living through web apps. This just allows you to do everything you want to do directly through a mobile web app rather than having to go through an individual app like a YouTube app, a Facebook app, Twitter app, for example. So that's how web apps work. And I was at Android TO, it's a Android conference in Toronto every year, and there was a whole bunch of workshops on web apps. And although no one talks about it very much now, I expect that in the next 7 to 10 years, hopefully less than that, web apps will become a serious force. They have to, because publishers need a direct way to access their audience. What do you guys think? All right, thanks for watching Android Army. My name is Jayce, and I'd love to connect with you right here on Google Plus or Twitter. I read all the comments and @replies, all of them. I may not respond to them all, but you should know that if you have a really burning question, you'd like some help, put them in the comments below. I do not respond to private Hangout messages and stuff like that. There's just too many of them, and it's only helping the one person who asked the question. So if you put them in the comments below, more people can plus that question or respond to you. And we also have the Android Authority forums, where there's a lot of very knowledgeable people there who can answer your questions. That's why we set up the forum. But many of your questions have already been answered. You can search our channel. Battery questions, those are really popular. Case questions, those have all been addressed multiple times in our channel. Just search our channel for those questions. And if you haven't found them, put them in the comments below. And if it's a good one, it might be featured on next week's Q&A. Don't forget about my brothers in Android, Josh, Joe, and the Tech Ninja, Kevin, Lon, and Chris, all working really hard to deliver the best Android content on the web. See you next week on Android Weekly.